those awesome analysts. Anchored by Gob B, a legendary 1.6 player, and very tactical team, had a top 4 at Gfinity Summer Masters 1. They're going up against Liquid. Liquid's also a team vying to try and be like second best NA team. They've had their problems recently, ESWC, and so they've got a lot to prove here.
All right, your thoughts on Group A before we, and I'm going to have you walk us through Group 3. But this is giving us some ideas on Group, but what's your thoughts of who's coming out of that one?
So as we talked about earlier, Cloud9 definitely is like, they're in the position to play better. They don't have the underdog kind of mentality anymore. They are like the best team other than Mouse Sports in the group right now. So that underdog mentality where they have to come and they have to prove themselves, it's taken to an even higher level, because now they're considered as one of the best teams in the group and they should move on. So if they don't, it's going to be really upsetting for everybody. And then on the other end of things, I think Mouse Sports should be the second team to come out. I think Cloud9 and Mouse Sports are the top 2 there.
Okay. And then I'm going to have you walk us through Group B. I'll come back to you and get you Group A and B from you. Let's get everyone caught up on B.
So Group B, the first matchup we have is Luminosity versus Navi. Luminosity is, they've had a pretty stable roster for the most part. They just replaced one of their players for Devilwalk now. So they have 2 European players mixed with 3 Americans. So they have like a weird dynamic where they're trying to adopt some European kind of play with their American kind of roots. So I'm interested to see what they do. They have to prove. And then obviously Navi needs no introduction. They're the highest ranked team on Thorin's top 10 team here. I definitely think Navi will make it out of group, definitely. And then on the other hand, we have Virtus.pro versus Tempostorm. Virtus.pro, again, they need no introduction. Everybody knows their players. Neo, Pasha, the fan favorites. Tempostorm, Tempostorm is one of those teams where they just kind of revamped their whole roster. They have Automatic, who used to be on my team, Nihilum. They have Shazam, who used to be on Cloud9, obviously. They have Roka, who was on Elevate last season. So I think that team they're a newer roster, but I think they have a lot to prove here.
And this is their first LAN, correct?
Yes.
Of this roster, at least. Okay. So safe to say you think Navi, Virtus.pro, but in what order will they come out?
I would give it to Navi as the top one and Virtus.pro as number 2.
Okay, and then let's do Group B first for you. Okay. Who's coming out?
I mean, for this one, it's the easiest, I think, to predict, because it has to be Navi in first place. Now, beyond that, Virtus.pro's in a little bit of a slump in terms of where we normally think of them in the world. But saying that, this isn't the kind of group that really it's likely they'll get upset by. Because first of all, remember, it's double elim and best of 3. So it's really, you've got to win 2 maps against them to get through a series. So even if they lose a map, they're probably not going to lose the series. And then you look at the NA teams they're playing, and actually the better NA teams are in Group A. So they're the ones going to be competing there maybe against Valve Sports, Cloud9. Over in this group, Tempostorm's a really new lineup. We haven't seen them play at all. And okay, Luminosity, they have some experience, but all their European experience has just been them losing. So I don't think this is the right group for those underdogs to get the upset. So again, let's set the stage there. 2 elite-level European teams. If there is an upset, it'll be a major result in itself. But I'm expecting it must be Navi first, Virtus.pro taken second.
Okay, and then let's go back and let's talk your predictions for Group A.
I mean, you'd obviously have to say it should be Cloud9 in first place. That should be the logical first place for them, especially even as I'm thinking the team that will come out second is Mouse Sports. Like, they've got a really good tactical basis. They beat Virtus.pro in 2 best-of-3 series that the Gfinity era referred to before to get to the semi-finals. They're a skilled team. Now, there is some upset potential here, because obviously you think of Liquid, you think of CLG. Okay, CLG is going to have to pug it a bit more. They don't have their in-game leader. But these are 2 teams that have some skill on the roster. So maybe they could cause someone like a Mouse Sports, some upset threat, especially because, I mean, Mouse Sports is a very tactical team, a bit like Cloud9. So usually they're the team who want to have the demos, they want to go through them. I don't know what demos you could really have gotten, especially of CLG, since they're not going to have their in-game leader. So maybe that evens it up a little bit. There's got to be a chance. With that said, if you look at the star player of Mouse Sports, Nex, this guy is an amazing player. He's better than anyone on Liquid and anyone on CLG. So skill-wise, they can also still match up. It's not just going to be tactics versus brains versus brawn as it was. But I'm expecting C9 should be in first place. History tells us that. The format suggests they shouldn't be able to lose, because they play best of 3s the whole way and double elim. And then second place, I'm thinking Mouse Sports, because I'm thinking the way they played at Gfinity, they impressed against better teams. As long as there's not some strange upset, they should be the second place team, I think.
Okay, and again, I think they mentioned it before we came on air, but there are 2 streams for the next couple days, so every match here from the arena is going to be covered for you guys. And there's a variety of ways you can watch it. And they're all listed right there, MLG TV, on your phone, if you got Chromecast, either of the Xboxes, all sorts of tablets obviously running the apps, Roku, set-top boxes, all that kind of good stuff. So again, plenty of ways to watch the stream, and again, 2 streams for the next 2 days. And then once we get rid of all the group stuff, we'll go right into one main stream for everything. We're obviously going to delve into this first match in a few minutes. Navi Luminosity is our first match. And that being said, Chris Puckett has the captains down there. Take it away, Chris.
All right, thank you, Scoots. I'm here with, of course, Lex from Luminosity and Guardian from Navi. Guardian, let's start with you, my friend. I know you just came off a plane. Well, you got in yesterday. So talk to me a little bit. How is the team feeling? I know it was 20 hours for some of the guys coming over to America.
Well, it's always hard to travel so much, and we need to have like enough rest to play. It feels fine now.
Feeling good. Now, this tournament, of course, we're starting with group play. How much about the North American teams do you know that are competing here in Group B?
We played them a few times. I think it was ESWC and maybe Gfinity. So we know something that we can use against them. So, but yeah, we cannot like underrate them or something. So we have to play our game.
Well, Thorin said you are the highest ranked team coming in here. Do you feel this is your tournament to lose?
No.
Lots of competition. Your first competition is standing right next to you. This, of course, Lex from Luminosity. Lex, lots of changes since I've seen you last year in the MLG.TV arena. You got 2 new teammates on board. How are you feeling about the new squad? I know you're now finally in a team house together.
We actually have 3 new teammates on board since last season. So, yeah, we're in the gaming house together. Finally think we found a roster where all 5 people know what they're here for. They're dedicated, and they're actually, competitors. So. We've been in the gaming house, and honestly, it's the best thing that's ever happened to, I think, me as a player. I mean, you just learn so much in such a short period of time. You can practice for 12 hours a day and actually get everything down. I wish we had another month to prep for this, honestly, because it's that good of an opportunity for us to prep and for an international event, especially when we're playing teams like Navi across the way. But it's going to be an adventure, this tournament, I think. I think we're going to surprise some people. We're just going to play well, play our game, and see what happens.
I was talking to Anger. He said you guys are feeling not super confident, but comfortable in this first matchup. He knows it's going to be a big challenge for you, but you have even more pressure on your shoulders. You've taken over this shot caller position on the squad. How did this come about? How are you feeling coming into this first matchup?
Well, honestly, I used to be a strat caller for my team for a long time, and then shared it with a bunch of different players, and then eventually stepped back from that role for a season or 2. And the goal this season was to have Peter call for the majority of it, and then kind of take it back over to me, because I didn't have a lot of experience playing internationally or even an invite. I mean, it's my 4th season or something like that, but that's small in comparison to the other players. So for me especially, I mean, yeah, there's pressure, but now I finally have the reins and we can work something out of it, so I'm happy about it.
All right, and if Luminosity wants the big win here in the first match of the day, who's the player to watch?
Pitt, for sure. This guy is probably the best player in North America, and if he's confident, he comes in and he plays his game, who knows what will happen.
All right, man. Well, best of luck, guys. I'll let you shake hands, head back to your booth. In just a few moments, Navi takes on Luminosity for the first match from the MLG CEVO Season 7 LAN Finals. We'll be right back.
Smiths will chime in with one apiece, so Get Right, all that's left is in a 1-on-3. Does get the first, doesn't have that bomb down, does get the second. He looks like he might pull this off. Get Right, the master. Oh, he sees him. Get Right, the most unbelievable 1v3 in the absolute pivotal time. Put him down as a result. Smith's still in the back of the side. Kiyoshima there holding B magically, but no, Peter's gonna get another one. And now it's Smith's overwhelmed in the back of side, and Peter magical in the magic moment, and he gets a third. Peter, are you absolutely out of your mind? Because I couldn't predict this.
Toodle at 100, Roka with 41, and Scott's got himself a 3K, so the save of that rifle is gigantic. Lex takes him down now. 1-versus-1 battle here. Lex versus Roka. Who's going to come out on top? Lex with less HP, and he gets it with only 4 HP.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're about to get this first match started again. Na'Vi, perennial European powerhouse, taking on Luminosity with a really, really brand new roster. 2 Euros, which is great, but maybe not enough time to really kind of get their knowledge out of them and into the North American guys, so to speak.
I like the way you said that.
I know you did.
You can see it. Can they get some of that NA influence out of the team and enough European in to have a chance here? All that matters, Scott, is whoever wins, Europe wins, mate. So,
It's true. Europe wins no matter
so do
what.
2
right?
European wins, or do 5 Europeans win? That's the real question, Hiko.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Majority, 3. We win.
The Americans.
It's still North American.
Absolutely the Americans.
So we talked a little bit off camera and even during rehearsals, and I find it's not intriguing, but like I brought up the point that all 5 of the North American teams that are here right now will travel to Burbank next week to try to book a ticket to this major, right? This biggest Counter-Strike tournament ever in Germany. Your team's going to be there as well. Obviously, there's other teams that aren't here. So, like, what's better? Is it better to be here and play in your competition to prep for next week, or at home, like is Semphis with writing notes, taking, documenting stuff?
So in my opinion, the teams that actually aren't going, which are my team, Elevate, and I don't remember the last one. Definitely all the players I would hope are at home, studying all the American players. Like this is definitely to date, probably the biggest rivalry in terms of American team we've ever had. Like for 8 teams to try to qualify for 2 spots, we've never had to go through that for any American team. It's always been like Cloud9 Cloud9, Aba Power back in the day. Now it's like Liquid gets to some events. Elevate went to like the last Gfinity. So the competition in the US is a lot harder than it ever was.
Which is great.
Yeah, exactly. So you would expect that, especially if an American team loses early here, everybody's watching everybody. Everybody's trying to learn as much as they can, trying to counter-shot them for, next week, which is the most important qualifier probably ever in American CSGO.
That's why you're here, right? You didn't care to analyze. You just wanted to be close to the action so you could take your own notes.
I mean, spin that the other way, though, Scoots. Think about it this way. Yeah, you give something up by playing. Like the teams who aren't here, they can be watching your demos, etc. But if you want to talk about getting practice for that offline qualifier, even if you're in Group B, hey, you get to play Na'Vi, maybe you get to play Virtus Pro in a best of 3s. So in theory, you might find out your strats work better than you do in the practices that the other guy's going to be having. So I think it can go both ways.
And I know we were giving grief to Helium off air about his fantasy team.
Yeah.
I pointed out that why did you pick Sean Garris? I mean, and he told me, he basically said that Stunna manhandled him.
No, it's because he misunderstood the term. It said, let's play fantasy CSGO. And he was like, well, in a fantasy world, Sean Garris would be an amazing fragger, wouldn't he? What, guys? What's wrong?
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
We're done.
So.
Well, it was thank you, CEVO, thank you, MLG. Duncan and I will be leaving. So that's kind of, I think he got a little pressure to put all the Cloud9 guys on there. Because in the fantasy system, Sean does a lot of things that don't show up on a stats sheet. So
Not too useful for fantasy then.
No, yeah. So that's
purely statistical arena.
But, Stunna being an ex-Marine, I think he basically said, you're putting these guys on your fantasy team or I'm kicking your butt. So, again, let's...
The American way.
Yeah. You guys saw during the commercial break, there is a Twitter it's predictions going. So definitely tweet us who you think's going to win. We'll keep track of that the whole time.
Scoots, it said who do you want to win?
Not who's going to win, who do you want to win?
Yeah, that's a very key difference, right?
That is an interesting way to put it.
You know how to do, fans. You know what to do. Yeah. Unless you're a traitor, of course.
That'll pop up on air. So let's talk about... Oh, here it comes. Never mind. Let's talk about this. So where are we sitting at? 41. Whoa.
See the distinction.
This is the want.
There you go.
This is the want.
But with that said, Scott, even then, a lot of NA fans are like, I still want Na'Vi to crush these NA teams. So a lot of smart people in the crowd.
So there you go. 41 and 59. So yeah, and again, I think that's a key word: want versus who will win, right?
Yeah.
In predictions. Let's go back a little bit to what we were just talking about with you guys and this North America team. You know, if you go way back to 1.6 days, we always had 1 or 2, then maybe 4 teams that could kind of compete with each other. You had the 3Ds, you had the complexities, then you had maybe a little EG, a little bit of rival, a couple other teams, depending on the time of year, depending on what year.
Right.
Now it seems that, like again, you talked about an 8-team offline follow. How many of those teams, in your pro North American opinion, really have a shot to win one of those 2 spots, though?
Right now, I would think Cloud9 is probably like the fan favorite. I think everyone considers them as the best team, and they probably have the easiest shot to actually make the actual tournament. As far as the second team, like everybody is in question right now. Nobody knows how anyone really plays. Like you have Liquid and CLG are probably considered like the second best team. Like they're both in contention for it. Liquid has historically known to be a little bit less of a skilled on LAN than they are online. And CLG, now that they haven't been able to be playing with their 5th because FNS has had visa issues. So who knows who CLG will even use, if it will be FNS or not. And as we said earlier, that is their in-game leader, and a lot is dictated by them. And then you have teams like Nylum, my team, teams like Luminosity, teams like Elevate, who do have newer rosters. Roster changes happened recently, so nobody knows what's going to happen. I think the only team that people really think has a for sure shot is Cloud9.
Cloud9. Okay. So kind of an open field, which again we're not used to over here. This many potential teams like doing well. So it's nice to see, and hopefully it grows to 12 teams and 16 teams. So let's take a look at it. We did a kind of a matchup of 2 top players for these teams, and we picked the offers. So let's go ahead and take a look at the matchup. I think Peter and Guardian is what we're going to take a peek at here. Oh, you already showed it. I see. I was too busy talking to you guys. So you guys enjoyed all that. Hope it was great.
I mean, when we say a matchup there, it's a matchup of the roles, but let's be clear, this is like a David and Goliath type situation. Guardian's probably the best AWPer in the world. I think even in terms of players, he's probably top 5 at the moment. He's been in incredible form. Peter, obviously, listen, at MLG X Games, we all remember that epic result where his 20 AWP frags was part of this Dust 2 upset win over LDLC, now Envious at the time. That was a huge upset win for them. But since then, we haven't seen so much from him in the big lands, especially against European teams. So to go up against someone like Guardian, it feels unlikely he's going to be able to get the better of him in this picture scenario, because Guardian is just so very good. But it's a way to test the mettle, because when you see lower level players playing each other, it's hard to know how good they really would be on the global scale. Now you're going against the best at your role. So show us what you're all about, because you don't win duels versus Guardian.
Yeah, I mean, PTR definitely has a different style of opping than Guardian does as well. Guardian is definitely that really passive opper. He doesn't go for those like really insane flick shots. He holds his angle. He plays very, very standard, very slow. PDR, on the other hand, he does have his slow rounds, but he also is able to throw in some rounds where he'll play like the Michael Ellie kind of play, where he'll push really fast, he'll get a pick, and he'll try to fall back. So I think if he can actually get himself those early picks and get his team the roundup or the man-up advantages, then I think they might have a chance.
Okay. Well, they've started the vetoes on us, so let's take a look here. And these are going to be live vetoes, folks, so we're going to kind of walk through live. Why don't you kind of walk us through this, Duncan? Let's see where we're at so far.
I mean, an obvious map, if you're the Luminosity guys, you do not want to be playing here. It's got to be Train immediately. Na'Vi is known as one of the best on Train. It's a map that a lot of teams aren't going to have much experience on LAN. Like, I'm assuming Luminosity's never played it with this lineup. Therefore, immediately you want to stay away from that. In terms of strong maps for Na'Vi, we're looking at like the classics, Mirage. They're very good on Overpass. They're like a really strong team there. And I think the third one for them at the moment is probably Inferno, actually. Like historically, Dust 2 used to be a great map for them. They seem to actually, they've been banning it recently. And then Cobble's one where they say they're really good on it, but I've only really seen them play elite teams on it. So I don't know if it's one that they would just go away from themselves because it's one like that. What are you feeling for Luminosity? What should their strong maps be?
I really don't think Luminosity even has a chance in this veto. Like,
it's hard.
In Navi's best world, if they end up playing like an Overpass or Mirage, I would think Luminosity has no chance. Like,
yeah.
The problem with Luminosity right now is they need to try to play like a Dust 2, a Cash, an Inferno.
Yeah.
But even on like an Inferno map, I still would have to give it to Navi. So if Navi is thinking, smartly, they're going to think, okay, American team, they only play Dust 2, they only know Inferno, they only know Cash. Drop those instantly, force them to play an Overpass or Mirage, which Americans are historically known for being worse on, and just walk away with this.
I mean, if I was forced to Luminosity, you have a choice. You could just pick any map. There's no ban V. I would say go for Cash. It's not historically known as the greatest map for the guys on Navi's side because they're so good at some of the others. The problem is, usually, if you're the underdog team, that's banned out by actually Navi there. Usually, that's quite why they're taking care of that, because they don't mind any other map they play. But usually, you want to play Dust 2 if you're the underdog team. Like this team before when Peter was on, you want to try and get the upset.
Yep.
The problem is, even though at the moment Navi's not playing against the elite teams, Navi is one of the best all-time teams on Dust 2. And Guardian particularly, you could make like a 1-hour movie of his highlights just on that map alone. So Mirage, another obvious one. That was Navi's original specialist map, I'm expecting from Navi here, maybe something like... Maybe they just take Dust 2 out the way. Just take it out now and then look at the maps you've got left. We don't mind where you play right now. So if I'm them, maybe I just take Dust 2 out here because you definitely, Navi's not going to take out Overpass, I feel. Like no chance of that. Cobble, they're probably going to leave in. So I think they're going to kind of leave it on Luminosity. Hey, which do you want to play? Do you want to take out Train? Surely you're going to. And then we'll take out whichever one we don't want out of Cobble. There we go. So they pick Overpass. It makes sense.
Yeah, not
okay,
surprise.
so now which should Luminosity pick, do you think?
Absolutely Dust 2, without a doubt in my mind. Dust 2, as we said, is definitely the more, you can play a little bit looser, and there it is.
The problem here is, though, like we said, look at the maps we've actually got here. So we've got Overpass, Dust 2, and then third map is Cobble. Now, those are, at the moment, okay, I wouldn't say Dust 2 is one of the strongest maps for Navi, but they're going to be a favorite even on the one map that they didn't have a choice in choosing. Overpass and Cobble, they are overwhelming favorites. So if you can even get to a third one, it's going to be very, very difficult for Luminosity to win this. Then again, we haven't seen this Luminosity lineup play some of these maps, so maybe they can throw in a new wrinkle there, because Navi is a very tactical team. That's another thing. They're a team you can scout. They're going to do similar strategies. With that said, there's always that little bit of subtlety there where they'll change it up a little bit, and it's going to be very hard, especially the in-game leaders were saying before, I don't have so much experience, I'm letting PTR do it sometimes. If you're not experienced, it's going to be hard to read Navi.
Yep.
All right, well, now we know, so I think I know the answer to the predictions, but go ahead and give me predictions.
I give it to Navi 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0, but I don't like to just make it sound like the same thing, so I'll go 2-0, humiliating, kind of soul-crushing victory that makes other people question whether this teammate should even be in this team. What am I doing in my life? My mom said I should have gone to that, finishing school, maybe become a concierge one day if I keep my head. Oh yeah, the rest of the tournament we played. So 2-0 to Navi.
So a life-altering, crushing loss is what you're calling for somebody?
Fingers crossed.
Oh boy.
Get him, Guardian. Get him. Mate, when they were doing that little stare-off before the captains, Guardian was looking over, the whole time when Lex was talking, as if, he was like, you're a manager, right? I think I know you. Team Liquid. And he's like, no, Luminosity. He's like, good, I will see you now. Just let's go off. He's like, that's the end of when he's going to have to see him in the tournament. So he's like, have a nice life.
All right, now the other match that we're not going to actually talk too much about, but it's going to happen on the other stream, VP Tempo Storm. Just really quick thoughts on that.
The problem with this matchup is Tempo Storm, there's nothing I can even tell you that I'd give them a chance in this match. Even the players they've got in who are the more known ones, Shazam, his form has been much improved since Cloud9, but that's because it was so bad when he was in Cloud9. Probably the only player I could point to out of this one, look at as maybe a potential star breakout performance is Roka. I actually think he's a very good, very underrated player. When he was in Elevate, he was definitely one of the bright spots there. Very aggressive, very aim-reliant player. Maybe he can take it to Virtus Pro. Problem is they have got a lot of aim talent themselves. They've got Bjarly, they've got Snacks, they've got Pasha with the Orb. So NA teams tend not to match up so well with the Virtus Pro guys, and so I think it's going to be very, very tough for Tempo. I think that match alone is probably the biggest disparity, between all the teams here.
I would actually say Automatic is definitely a player to watch out for. He is an old teammate of mine. I know,
Except when it's in your lineup, right? Then you were like, I'd like to watch out for you on another teammate. Get away from me. I need to win. I used to be on Cloud9.
I mean, if you look at how they played against Cloud9, that one land, he definitely was the star player of his team. He definitely improved a lot. He definitely proved a lot of people wrong that that team is nothing. They beat Cloud9. Obviously now he's on Tempo Storm, and I guess you can say he's historically known for being better on LAN. So if he does go off with him and Shazam going together, I think they might be able to do some work against Virtus Pro, though.
For people who haven't seen Shazam since Cloud9, and obviously if that was the only place they saw him, he didn't perform very well. He had his problems, especially against European teams. Is he a different player now? Is he still the AWP all the time guy? Is he still really aggressive with peaks? What's he like now?
He definitely opts as much as he can. I think the team will save to get him an op if he doesn't have an op. And he definitely plays a lot more aggressive than he used to. He's not playing the little, Sean is controlling him, you need to do this every round. He has the freedom to do whatever he wants. Okay. So,
which is when he was at his best, right? When he was in the old denial.
When he beat my team on that. So definitely he's somebody to watch out for. Especially if someone like Tasha is not, not having the greatest day, or even Neo, and they're able to just get those early picks again. I think that's the only chance that these American teams have. They need to get the early picks, and need to take the man-up advantages and win the closing rounds.
And I think actually, if you are Shazam, first of all, there's no pressure in as much as no one expects you to beat Virtus Pro, not in a best of 3. But with that said, because you're only known for your problems you had in Cloud9, and people are like, he can never be a top pro, this is a great chance to prove yourself, actually. There's no pressure to win, so just play your game, show what you've got, and hey, maybe if you can have one crazy map, it starts to redeem that reputation a bit. Because I know one of the reasons he's on this team is because, unfortunately, the Cloud9 scenario went so badly, a lot of the other teams kind of wrote him off, so he couldn't get into the other top teams. So he's someone himself where maybe not in this team, but one day future, he wants to be a top player again.
All right, let's... I know that we just saw some roster stuff, so they're going to keep showing us different, player photos. Obviously, there's Lex again,
Okay.
not the manager of the team.
Okay. I'll tell Guardian later.
Yeah, let me shift
after the
gears a little bit.
2-0.
Obviously, we're waiting for the players to be ready to start the match, so, those at home, like, they're not waiting on us, we're waiting on them. So, while I have you both here, totally unrelated to this tournament because they're not here anymore because Envious didn't come, but I really want to get your guys' opinions on this French shuffle again and your thoughts on how it turned out for each team.
In French, délicieux, delicious, Scott.
Oh, nice.
It's tight, it's tantalizing. I want to see what like. Here's the thing: when Kenny S was in God mode, end of last year, early part of this year, it was a tragedy because he was playing some of the best CS ever, but his team, it wasn't good enough. They couldn't win big championships. Even if they got to a final, they were going to lose to some elite level team. Now, he's not playing as well, but he doesn't have to in this team. If he just plays to a good level, which we know he can do, he's got the pieces around him now where now we could see Kenny S in a major final, making top 4s at huge tournaments regularly. And I don't know if they'll be as good as the old Envious, the one that was like vying for top spot in the world, but I think this can definitely be like a top 5, top 4 level team. There's a lot of upside to this team, I think.
I mean, something also to mention, though, is that they've never really had that dedicated opera. Like, sometimes you see Happy Ops, sometimes you see Kiyoshima, Shocks, you saw Ops sometimes.
Smiths.
Yeah, exactly. Smiths, definitely Smiths. So now they have this guy who should have an op every single round, and if they don't, Kenny S definitely doesn't have terrible rifles, but they need to go out of their way to give him an op. So it's a different dynamic than they're used to, and I think with Apex as well, definitely like a top team to be careful.
And that really is the big question mark. Even with Kenny S not being a great spawn, we kind of know what we're going to get. We know roughly if you put him in these spots what sort of kills he'll get. Apex is the question mark because he's been so bad the last few months within Titan that we know his talent level. And here's the interesting thing. He was at his best in his whole career when he played for a team called LDLC, which was Happy, his in-game leader, last ESL 1 Cologne, so August of last year. That was the last time he played great. So he's going back under the same in-game leader. Maybe that guy knows how to use him better, where to put him so he's comfortable. People are hoping maybe this can be a revitalized Apex.
And we just saw Devil Walk there, which again, really interesting story. He ends up analyzing the last tournament, but rooming with Lex. Yeah. And they hit it off. He hangs out with the team all week.
Platonic though, entirely.
Very platonic, just broing out, so to speak. And Devil Walk didn't want to retire. He definitely has that, much like you, he wants to be a player still. And then they get rid of their 5th. And they reach out to him like, hey, by the way, we know you want to keep playing. You want to move? You want to come to Toronto? And he did. So, I mean, again, we don't know how well they're going to do yet, but I think that's awesome that, A, he's back in a player's seat. And again, we've got another North American team with more European influence.
And actually what's funny is that's exactly the sort of player you want. Like, yeah, in a dream world, you'd want to get your roll off and Kenny S into an NA team. It's not going to happen, though, because they're going to play in European teams. So actually, one of the players I always said that they could get to improve North American CS would be someone who's like a support player for the really classic Swedish team. So a Fifth Flower and a Devil Walk, these sorts of people,
Gotcha. All right, folks, well, here you go. This is our trigger. The map is starting. Helium, Launders, take it away.
Thank you guys, great work. And we're gonna see Overpass first here already into the pistol round right now. Luminosity starting off on that T side. It looks like they're gonna have a look towards B. You can see them splitting up already though. Flamey peeking down Monster, gonna find the first shot. Pit though, with 2 entries just like that. Flamey a second for his as well. Now a third. It's just a battle of Pit and Flamey into a 2-on-2.
Yeah, it's quickly come down to a 2v2. They have the site, they got a smoke. They're going to try to plant the bomb, and C's can't do anything about it. Now we have one man, a left alone Guardian, pushing into the site, and he's coming up close to the planter, but will he get some shots off? No, looks like he'll have some adversity, and he's going to fall off to the pit. C's pulls down one now, Peter left in a 1v2.
Seized quite low. Guardian, though, still basically full at 76. He's going to be spotted. He lights Peter up down to 20, and Seized will finish it off. So a nice 3K for Flamey to start things off, getting that first kill on the round. Seized finishing it there. They will defuse.
Now we can see the tempo that Luminosity is trying to bring right out the gate to overpass. They move with a fast strat, splitting 2 and 3 out, Monster and Long B. And short, excuse me, and now they're going to be on the back foot a little bit. They did get the bomb down, and so they have the option to Glock save, and that's going to mean that they're going to be buying on the third. Now, Na'Vi have responded by getting 2 M4s, and that means they might be anticipating a buy, which they're not seeing. So these Thomases, you know, they're not going to get the kill rewards that they really could have.
Well, it's getting quite popular. It's after that bomb plant, you just have one person sacrifice for the team, and you throw an AK onto somebody. You make an early raid boss with the rifle. So rifles in response to that, perhaps. We'll see. Zeus, though, in a battle here in construction, will get a double, bringing both Devil and Pit to the ground. Peter, though, with that P250, moving in to the site to greet him. Seized as well, and the spray down from Zeus. Actually, Anger with the TK.
Yeah, a little bit of a misstep there, but again, Luminosity didn't invest much money into that round, and here we're definitely going to see some sort of buy-up, though. It'll be light for a couple of players. We only have 36 on Lex and Anger, and yeah, that's going to mean Galils. Now, I actually don't know if this is the right decision. Like, you could have Tech9. I'm always an advocate for a Tech9 over Galil. You can get full nades with it, but overall, they've got 4 smokes. That's definitely more than enough to win a round on T-side, and yeah, we're going to have an early first rifle round here on Overpass.
Yeah, a little bit more limited on nades, though, because it wasn't a full Glock save. They did go P250s. I think there was a flash and a Tech9 in the mix up there as well, and I think only netting, what, 1 frag there? Let's see, Anger, though, trying to get out, but still Flamey on the MP9 will take him down, so that's 1 for 1, and Zeus just terrorizing them from that sandbags position. Lex finally brings them in, but moving around the column, it's seized, and it's all over for Luminosity on their first rifle, so right back to square one.
Yeah, that's a quick 3-0 so far for Na'Vi, who have a lot of money across the board. They aren't losing a lot of players each round. Even on those ecos, it does add up, and you have to take them into account. Now, it's going to be Luminosity on a full save here. It's $2 grand a piece for pretty much all of them. They've got to rethink their strategies. They're going fast B pretty much every single round, and I wonder what the thought process is. They're not able to get into the site, and they got the bomb down once, but there wasn't a lot of success.
I feel going there, you know, that many times in a row, you go there on your first rifle, and you're like, all right, we've got the information, we know where they're playing, but they still just were not able to deal with Zeus and then C's coming in from the window very quickly. So now we'll see them spread out a little bit more, moving up towards those bathrooms to A, and it looks like Edward is the man on point here, and Zeus is already behind them. He loves to control that stair connector, and he will find one and also a ton of information for his troubles. And Edward maybe a little too aggressive here.
Yeah, they're trading 1 for 1, and Flamey is actually already in a rotator spot. I mean, they pretty much know what's going on at A. There's 2 players inside the bathrooms, and they're getting picked off one by one. I mean, Pith is making his way up long, but he's going to get shut down immediately as well, and that leaves Anger in a 1-on-3. He does have 2 frags on the board, and he's looking for a third, but can't find it. Na'Vi up to 4 rounds now. They've got 5 grand apiece, though. This is going to be their biggest buy so far.
We expect the op on Guardian. He got 2 kills there with the M4A1S, and there it goes. Drops it to Zeus. And he goes for the AWP, and also Peter picking up 1 as well. So maybe a long battle. Hard to really tell where, because Oppers will just go anywhere, even based on spawn here in Overpass, whether toward Monster Long or aggressive up towards the bathrooms.
Yeah, now one thing that Luminosity have talked about a lot in the past, I did some interviews, one with Devil Walk, and they mentioned, you know, working up, splitting up into some sort of default, gaining some map control, which is so valuable on Overpass, and then turning that into a strategy. But look, we have a 3-stack over towards Long. They're looking to take full control of it, and we have 2 players from LG postured up towards it as well. And Flash might go over. Anger's going to take a peek. Is he going to find a fight? He knows one's at tree, and might look to fall off here. Doesn't have much support. Na'Vi really want them to come.
Yeah, they want to bait into this. They got 3 people here, 2 rifles. I can only assume Guardian, yeah, he's hanging further back there by the flowers. Just looking for a shot, but Peter finds it first. That's the first kill on the round, and he brings down C's. Now we can see going up into the short bathroom, there's a 1-for-1 trade, so the refrag comes out. Very, very good for the terrace. But now Guardian doing what he does, gets the shot. He will have a long fallback, but no one chasing him, and also Edward still holding that long for him.
Yeah, now Devil Walk is actually lurking into B. This is such a huge play because he has the site now. They have 40 seconds left. They can rotate the bomb here, but they've got to act quickly. They can't take this for granted. Na'Vi were set up really heavily towards Long, and even though they traded 2 players there, LG assume that there's going to be at least 1 player on the site, and they would be wrong, but he's going to catch the rotator. Guardian goes down, and that could be a round for them.
Still plenty of time to get here as well. 22 seconds now. Devil Walk gonna smoke off those stairs to try to slow down the rotation here at the CTs. Was that a flash or a smoke that missed? Trying to go up to it was a smoke that did miss, but doesn't look like it'll matter. They found Edward anyway. One-on-one, however. Zeus hanging out at Graffiti. He'll push forward now. And where is Pit? Did he move off towards construction, it looks like? Yeah, up on the sandbags. And he'll get him from the side. So there it is. On the board, on the T side is Luminosity.
1 round on the board for Luminosity. Now, this is Overpass. It's a tough map for both sides. And that's going to mean that Luminosity do have a significantly higher quota than they might have once had on Overpass. On this T side, they're going to need at least 6 rounds. I mean, I'm thinking that they're going to want 9. And with that being said, they have come off to a good start. On their first opportunity to have a full buy, they won the round, and they did it by splitting up. They got that information from Devil Walk, made a key play getting into B by himself. It was pretty brave, but it ended up working out. And now they're going to look to walk in along B kind of right off the bat here. Flamey's going to have pressure put on him.
Anger trying to get that entry. He actually moves forward, and Lex will find Flamey who's playing up barrel. Zeus, who's giving him so much trouble from sandbags. He's going to bring down 2. And he will reload as he is an A1S user. Aren't we all?
Yeah, now the smoke is down on Cap. Peter's up by the bomb, but he's going to go down. And now it seems like, I don't know if you noticed this, like players are getting picked off. Even on this, what should have been an explosive B take, we had players kind of trickling into the site and a couple people getting sprayed down, but no trade coming out. And even when Cat was smoked, the bomb wasn't attempted to be planted. And so it seems like once they don't get that entry, or
well, they did. They get the
yeah,
entry.
That's true. Yeah, Lex
they
did
just
get that
didn't
entry.
push anyone's sandbags, and Zeus has just been obliterating from there. I don't know if Na'Vi is throwing that smoke from CT that blocks off that shorter drain. So maybe they're scared to try to work into construction so that it can split through sandbags.
Yeah.
But they really need to, because that's not the first time we've seen Zeus just spray everybody down from that position.
I think
multiple 2Ks.
You know, opening picks are the most valuable picks of a round. And for them to be able to know that the right call was to get into B, walk in, take a fight, and then win that fight, that should be a round on the board. But if we look at how many players are alive right now, Na'Vi have got all 4. Flamey was the only one to go down to that entry, and they couldn't get any more presence on the site apart from that. Now there's going to be 10 seconds left. Devil Walk has an AK, and if he dies after the time, it's going to be bad for them. But here we have the only player on the site, Guardian, whoa, with a huge flick to take him down, and that's another round on the board. Now, that's a 5th in total. Luminosity have 1, and if we look at the economy of Luminosity, it's in shambles.
It could be worse, right? Guardian, obviously, you know, natural-born killer. He's not actually MBK, but he's going to kill that person. But if he actually, you know, Guardian just like, whatever, you can kill me, then they know exactly where Devil Walk is, and 3 players were there. They could have killed him after time.
Yeah, it could have been worse. That's true. Now, yeah, Na'Vi have 5 rounds. It's 5-1. Luminosity are back on a save. That was one of their most important rounds to win, and they couldn't do it. It's going to be an uphill battle from here, and we might even have to see a double save because of that loss.
And what is Flamey's opping? He's like 4th in line, isn't he? It's generally Guardian, then Edward, then I guess one or the other. C's even. It's like Zeus is the one who doesn't pick it up. But here we go. Flamey trying to strut his stuff. It will just be against the pistols. Guardian locking it down. Actually, both ops in the A site, too. Flamey watching the bathrooms. Guardian out towards long. And there's Flamey shot. He'll bring down Lex, and Edward moving forward as well. We got 3, actually 4 heavy towards the A site right here for Na'Vi.
I think a key problem that we're seeing being pervasive throughout these rounds is a lack of explosiveness. Like, there is Luminosity able to get 1 really nice round.
What is this?
have a good idea of what strategy to execute, but when it comes time to execute, like you're walking B, you get spotted, you explode, right? Point blank, period. There's nothing else you can do. You don't have map control at A site or outside of party. You really don't know what's going on anywhere else, and you're committing to getting seen and then exploding. And even on that eco there, they were kind of spread out, trying to work picks, probably talking about what to do in upcoming rounds, but don't have that explosiveness and aren't trading that well. I think if they can meet the strategy with the explosiveness, they're going to have much of a better time moving forward.
Devil Walk will be in those stairs. The rest of his 4 allies moving up towards the bathrooms, trying to bring down these players through the smoke. Actually do quite a bit of damage, but sees, finding 2 kills, 1 fadeaway grenade. And the rest of his team coming in. Devil Walk now spotted. Last man here for Luminosity. And, well, things have looked poor when Luminosity have just, you know, kind of tried to death ball, like work into A side or go fast into A. But we did see, you know, a glimmer of something that could work when they did have that default round.
Yeah, absolutely.
They played it very well. So I think they just need to get that back to that position again. They did just double save probably in an effort to get Peter this op back.
Yeah, once again, another key round right here where Luminosity have all the guns they want. This is the equipment value that you need to win a round. Peter's got an op. They really have no excuse. And now that it's 7-1, if they don't win this round here, they're going to lose this half tremendously. I mean, it's going to be a really bad half overall. Even though they've got that loss bonus, if it goes back into a 1-1 type of deal and they get lucky on one round, it's almost going to count against them overall. So now we have a sort of default where Pythas here in the stairs working solo, but Peter found a pick.
Yeah, through Monster. And then Edward, who had pushed in, it was in a cheeky spot, I guess we'll say, since the Europeans have showed up to the LAN. He gets a kill over in the connector. However, man advantage to Luminosity. Lex and Devilwalk in the red. They're barely holding on. They could stub their toe.
Yeah, but Navi don't know this necessarily, and they really don't know exactly which players are hurt, and the fact that they have sheer numbers over them right now could really work in their favor if they manage to use these players properly. Now, they still have that op, but they've only got 45 seconds left. They've got to make a decision on what site to go to, and it looks like they're congregating towards B. Now, Zeus is the man over at Cat, going to hold control of the site, and if they decide to plant, he's probably going to sit there and wait for his teammates.
Edward able to beat him there to the trigger. With 5 HP, he gets that kill onto Lex, and that'll even it back up to the 3-on-3. Lex also was very, very low, so it was one shot either way. Zeus, though, in such a fantastic spot. Peter saw him, though, and he hits the shot. Man advantage now to Luminosity. Bomb is down and ticking away. Guardian going in on this retake. He'll bring down Anger. He's got an ally up above, and that's Edward raining down those bullets. It seems like they've got an inkling of where Peter is going to try to come from. Peter, I think did he take that? But just missed it. He's going to try to walk through the smoke, spamming up that bomb. He's right on target, just no one was on it yet. So Edward going to try to stick it. Peter can still do this, but no! He must have been spotted out of the smoke, and Guardian finds him.
Now, that was a situation where Luminosity had hurt players, but then they all died to peeking right off the bat. Like, no one should die to your upper B guy when you have the bomb down, just because you're sitting at the pillar, excuse me. And they took that fight. They lost it, and that's why they're out of this right now. So that's a round lost for Luminosity. I would say it's maybe the most important round of the half so far, and they couldn't pull it off. But again, they had the right idea. They got into the B site off of great information. They didn't have to brute force their way in, but couldn't follow up with good afterplant spots.
Let's see how this brute force aggression goes. Once again, trying out towards B. Only one player going to get through, though, Lex. Kind of abandoned, but maybe rightly so. It would have been tough to go through that nade Molotov combo that we see so often these days in Flamey now. Spraying it down. Can he find that third kill as well? Running out of ammunition. Spray not quite there.
Yeah, Zeus going to be taking a peek off of Cat, and there are only 2 players alive. He does get dinked, but can fall off at this moment. Now it's Anger left in a 1v5 with the Deagle. Is going to look to make this round expensive. Finds a nice headshot, but gets taken down by Seas, and that's Navi, just displaying how much control they've had over this game so far. Like, even when they have stacked over towards A and Luminosity have had the great reads, they have no problem with their retakes. And the thing is that Navi are a team right now that have almost no faults, right? Their after plants are great, their retakes are great, playing slow if they want to is a strength for them, playing quickly when they want to is always good. They have strong lurkers, great site holds, and that's scary. But at the same time, Luminosity are finding the right place to go at the right time.
Yeah, there's definitely some rounds that could have been Luminosities. Even still, that would only amount to like 2 or 3 rounds. Worth noting, I will say, before this rifle round kicks off, that Luminosity, this is one of their least played maps online in the NA region. Not that Overpass gets picked very often, but they've never played it on LAN. And to come here and with a new roster, not a lot of time to have prepared for things, and play up against one of the best Overpass teams that there are, obviously not really expected to win here on Overpass. But let's see if they can do it. This is the time to rally, try to get those 6 rounds as T-side, as difficult as it may be, because Navi's already up to 9.
Yeah, but look at this. Edward is actually pushing up towards long and is going to be working on a flank. Is anybody watching this? We have Peter. No, his eyes are looking away, and that's going to allow Edward to get all the way around. And if no one is watching this, is going to be able to secure the round just by securing his presence. Whoa, Guardian hits a very nice shot, takes out Lex. He's going to see the head of Edward right now, and that's it. Another player goes down. Wow, Luminosity are fighting for map control.
Yeah, well, they've lost it. Edward was waiting for more players to come out.
That was very eloquent.
Thank you. Finally took the shot, brought him down, so it's a 5-on-2. And it seemed like Navi not going to lose from this position. Pit and Devil Walk. There it is. Pit. Again, Lex in the interview saying this is the player to watch out for. He shows up with his confidence.
Yeah.
He will be brought down, though, by Edward. And 3 points for C's.
So what do we see? We see Luminosity when they split up into the default. It works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't work,
close, at least when they do the default.
somewhat. I mean, that round was a complete
Well, not
disaster,
that
right?
one, but-
Like they worked into a default. They forgot about long, and then Edward pushed it. Now Navi are when they are taking these fights, Luminosity are winning them sometimes. The only time that they ever come out ahead in the mid to late round is when they trade 1 for 1 at least.
Yeah.
Versus wherever they're trying to work towards. So if they're going to split up in a default towards A and they want to pay attention to long or pay attention to the bathrooms, they need to speed up the clearing and take fights sooner than later.
So kind of a 2-1-2 split up default here for the terrace, if you want to call it that, 2 out towards the playground. Bomb kind of geared towards A since it is down there as well. Pith chilling at the stairs. Devil Walk and Peter trying to work a pick there through Monster. Flamey, though, just sitting at the barrel is not really giving him an inch. And actually, where is... Okay, Zeus is in such a good spot. He's pushed forward. He's all the way in construction. Looks like Flamey. So they've got control of a central portion of the map. That'll make that CT flank even faster. We've already seen a couple Luminosity members shot in the back, but here is the reversal.
And here we have the late round B hit again. Is this going to be telegraphed? We have 3 players in the site this time. Absolutely no presence towards A. Not a single anchor anywhere else on the site, or on the map, excuse me. And I feel like it's just going to be punished heavily for this. And yeah, Piff gets spotted. He's going to be pushing up into the site through Cat. Is going to look to take a fight. And we have players holding angles. It's Flamey. We got Zeus on the right here. This is a supreme crossfire they have going on, but Pitt takes his head off immediately. Flamey's gonna look for the double spray, now goes down. Pitt is finding a 3rd kill. No, that's actually Peter. Now they have a sight. 2v3. Anger is gonna be looking to pick up the rotator kill. Is gonna throw flash, fall off, and now it's after plant for Navi.
Edward, though, coming down those stairs, does find Lex 2-on-2. Guardian probably should be dead. He peeked that corner with a grenade out, but still he is here. 2 HP. Op shot onto Anger. And now Peter is going to have to hit 2. Maybe the call is there, but no, Guardian is too quick. And the bomb to be defused. Another close round for Luminosity, but Navi already going further into the double
I feel like
digits.
Guardian's got 100% accuracy this game. Every time we've seen him look at someone, look away, he always flicks back and hits them. And every single time in this after plant, it's always somebody caught out of position in a spot where they thought they could take a fight. And that's been their biggest downfall. Another situation where they get into a site with favorable trades and are unable to win it. They even had to kill 3 players in the site to get the bomb down, came away with more players remaining than were on Navi, and they still lost.
And Navi played so well as a unit. If we look at the kills, 13 on Seized and Zeus, 11 on Edward and Guardian, and 10 on Flamey. They're all neck and neck. Only 3 kills separating anybody, and there's just not any kills really happening for Luminosity. Pitt's up there at 8, and Devil Walk's down there at 2, so it's been tough. And once again, Guardian just going to hit that shot onto Anger. So now Luminosity already down 10 rounds, and now starting out here a man down. But look at that, Pitt and Devil Walk both picking up a frag.
EU Kryptonite is EU.
Yeah, there you go. It's the only thing to counter it.
Now Flamey's gonna have some pressure put on him. Lex takes his face off, and they're gonna have the site now. Seized is gonna be in a passive position, looking to defend this, but oh, he finds another, and that's the 2nd headshot on the round for him. If they lose this round, I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna get up and leave.
Yeah, me as well. LAN over.
LAN over.
Guardian's able to do this. He does miss a shot, misses another one there.
Oh.
As the jiggle peeking from Peter proves a little too strong, so Luminosity on the board. Maybe they can get 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe if this was Overpass when it first came out, we'd be like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you need like 6 or 7 rounds on T side now.
Maybe.
One
you know.
hell of a CT side if you're Luminosity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a great round. It did come down to some very nice shots being hit. And funnily enough, it's not even one of the rounds where I feel like they outplayed Navi. Like some of the other rounds, they outplayed them and couldn't win those rounds. That round, they just hit entries, kind of brute force their way in, and did it. But results are results. If they can come away with 4 rounds in this half, we can look to the second half. But still, there are close 11-2s and there are not so close 11-2s, and it looks like Navi are playing a whole lot stronger than they are right now. But it might change my opinion a little bit if they could seal up these last 2 rounds and make it look convincing.
Let's see what Edward is up to. He's in those bathrooms. He's kind of smoked off right now. Is he gonna? No, I think he is backing off, playing a bit safe. That will allow, though, a couple terrorists in there.
Yeah, so once again, we have LG taking bathrooms control, leaving long completely open, but Pyth is out here taking a pier into long, making sure no one can cross unless someone had crossed already. And I wonder, is that an op right here? That's Guardian, yeah. He's got an op angled onto it. So if he walks right into that crosshair, that's going to be bad news for him. And it looks like they might be gearing up to look to split A, but it's versus 3 players. Edward and Caesar still pushed up aggressively, not conceding any control.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to clear out those angles with the 3 aggressive Na'Vi members. Lex is going to try to do it. Can he see maybe the leg? He tries to check. He thinks he's checked it. He still is able to get one, but they're in the corner. Who was that? That was Edward who was there. Peter with almost, give it a millisecond more, and he could have had a 2 for 1, but will miss. And there it is. 4 surviving, only sees to fall, 12-2. At best, Luminosity gets 1 more round, but looking at their money, well, Anger will be broke, as well as Peter.
Yeah, what Na'Vi are really understanding here is that the thing about Overpass is one of the worst places to defend a site from is from the site.
It's from site,
and so they're playing with aggressive smokes and playing 3 players pushed up the entire way through, even though they know there are 5 players really close by. And that's that confidence they have right now in doing it. And I think it's pretty much the ideal way they could be working the map as a team. And it's looking really good for them. Obviously, 12 rounds on the board. They've more than met their quota. They're probably not feeling shaken at all. And here we have a push into
Molotovs, though.
Flamey is going to be taking down the first player. C's is going to look down and spray another, but Zeus actually finds a nade kill, and that leaves Anger right now with an AK in a 1v5.
Yeah, Luminosity, they know, or Na'Vi rather, knows that Luminosity is coming. They've got those nades coming in as a response, Molotovs as well, and they just walk in and get blended there in the sandbags.
Yeah, blended I think is the word for it. They
and burnt.
Yeah, burnt, cooked, blended. That was easy for Na'Vi. They really didn't have much trouble whatsoever. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, it came down to fundamentals with Luminosity. I think if you asked them, they would say the same thing. Because in those after plan positions in some of those rounds, I think they were unexcusable. Like if you add up those rounds, they still might only have a total of 5, but that is like a much better half than what we're looking at here.
Because of course, 13-2, if Na'Vi now just comes out and gets the pistol, you're done.
You're done.
Well, assuming they get all like pistol in the next 2.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's going to change your buying patterns, right? Like you could say going up against a great half on any map is a disadvantage, even though you get to play your favorite side second. But ultimately, it's going to change the way that you buy. If you're down 13-2, you lose a round, you're going to force buy when maybe if you were starting on that half the first time around, you wouldn't have, and it might have been a better decision. But coming back from a deficit like 14-2 or 15-2 is too much for some teams, and Na'Vi are definitely going to look to put on that pressure here on this pistol.
Looks like they're going quick as well. 1 out towards Fountain, the other 4 through the playground, but also long aggression. They are fighting here. Both of them actually push forward towards that rock. Anger's able to get 1. Can he find another Flamey posted up? And it's actually Guardian, though, that finds the kill. So only Edward to go down, and now 3 people with Kevlar on the side of Na'Vi, and it's 4 versus 3 in favor of those terrorists. But there is a player on the back line here. Ooh, and there it is. It's Pit. Takes off the head of C's, but quickly, Flamey getting the revenge.
Oh, if Pith was able to stay alive in that position, that would have been a huge play from him. His presence would have made it hard to rotate, but here we have Na'Vi taking advantage of the fact that they killed the rotator and taking the B side almost instantaneously. They've got 1 player at upper looking to take a fight, and he actually is about to go down. Devil Walk here with 45 HP is going to be jumping out into the pit and goes down. That's a round for Na'Vi, a pistol to bring him to 14-2.
Very heroic looking effort by Devil Walk, jumping off the balcony while firing straight out of an action movie.
Maybe he forgot his cape.
Yeah, forgot the cape. About a 1% chance to win that 1v3. Yeah. So there it is, 14. And you already touched on the buying habits that are going to be affected now. You're already forcing. Most CTs would force anyways in this case.
Yeah, sure.
But we will see the scout. And it's actually in the hands of Pit, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, if they're able to steal back the momentum here, it obviously would be huge. But all in all, Luminosity are not playing as well as they are.
Goodbye, Scout.
Oh, that's the 1 scout off the board.
He scouted the information, but he paid for it dearly.
Hey.
Now, Peter, though, will find the frag with that 5-7.
Knows he's being chased as well. Edward, on his back tails, is going to actually push through into the stairs and is going to pre-fire this. Kills him
Very
with
pre-fired.
Yeah, a headshot. Knows exactly what he was doing, so.
Lex found Flamey, though, in that same time. So that does still bring us to a 3-on-3. Guardian here with that AK posted up and long, and Lex hits the headshot. C's finding it, and then from the side, Devil Walk. Everyone is just behind everybody else.
Yeah, and those trades end up favoring Luminosity. It's a 2-on-1 now. Oh, we have Anger. Made some noise. Opens the door. Doesn't know Edward's in here. And Edward, after killing
3 kills already
Peter,
on the round.
stuck in the stairs. And now that leaves Devil Walk in a 1v1. Very awkward position. He's not watching the bomb, but it's... Oh my goodness.
So much
He's actually
time
waiting
here.
for him to peek this right now. He's about to come. No, Devil Walk finds the frag.
Doesn't even get hit. 100 HP, 100 armor.
Yeah. Wow. Edward knew exactly what was going
And
on.
a fist bump.
Still won. There we go.
There it is. Some smiles.
It's EU and NA coming together right there.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing, Thorin. Take notes.
Now, Luminosity, though, and you must say, only have 3 rounds. It's still as grim as ever. And Pith, Mag 7, a couple of Thomases, a Scout on Peter, and a little, not a single M4 on the board, but it is going to be going up against a Force Buy of Na'Vi. It's very typical of European teams to eco when you get ecoed now.
Oh, Devil Walk taking a dink.
Yeah.
No, like not even one submachine gun though. Like against all the pistols, submachine gun's so obviously buffed to be able to counter the Tech 9 armor rush.
Is that because you wanted to use your broom line?
It's broom, right?
Broom.
Way to ruin it before I even got to bust it out. No one heard anything. 4 on 5, Luminosity at the disadvantage. Where is this Mag 7? Pit jump spotting with it over towards B. He's actually the one man there for Luminosity. Bulk of the forces here defending A, but will they be able to hold it even against his pistols?
Peter misses a shot. Devilwalk goes down 4. Now Flamey actually finds a trade, but Anger finds 2 for himself, and it's going to be left alone with the truck, but that's a 2v2. The bomb is in their reach.
Yeah, 2 on 2. Bomb down on a good spot on that semi-truck. Guardian, though, hitting the one dig. Can he get another? Doesn't have to. Flamey's there at the FAMAS.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, they got pushed back. As soon as Devilwalk got dinked, he fell all the way off into sight. They immediately conceded all the bathroom and long control. And I want to say it's out of fear because they know just as well as Na'Vi do that on the A site, there aren't great spots to defend from. You've got a couple cheesy spots right at long where you can be close
Or
left.
if you set up the boost.
Yeah, or right tucked into the truck, but we saw Devilwalk get there, and as soon as someone clears it, they go down instantly. And this is versus saving players, so you need to keep that distance since you have those rifles, and they weren't able to do it. And that's probably why they lost that round.
So, rocky start here in the second half. Unfortunately, Luminosity just cannot afford that. It's match point for Na'Vi, and seems to find the first kill on it. Brings down Pit, that player you're looking to have him be the star on this Luminosity lineup, and he's down. Still some Deagles, perhaps, from Anger and Lex could turn things around.
Yeah, and it's almost at this point where you start thinking about map 2, you know. There's obviously, as long as the game's still going, that's what's great about Counter-Strike. As long as the game's still going, there's hope for your team, but looking at the results of this map so far, it looks like Na'Vi just have all the confidence and all the shots they need to seal it up, and here it starts right here. Edward gets into the site, Zeus finds one on Devilwalk, and that's going to allow the bomb to go down. T's also
Lex
catch a
caught
rotator, and that's all their bases covered.
I think Peter's got the one before the scout. Let's see. Well, he hit the shot. Unfortunately, the player is healthy enough, and it didn't hit him in the face. So Zeus to find the final frag. Your map 1 winner is Natus Vincere.
Yeah, congrats on Na'Vi. Dominant performance, looked extremely strong, and really it seemed like Luminosity in that situation didn't have much hope round for round. Early on, right, they had their first rifle round with a lot of money, and then they won it, and then they lost it. And as soon as they lost, they had a double save, and that's when it became 7-1. They got another opportunity to do it, but couldn't carry over a string of rounds together, and then coming into the CT side gave themselves almost no hope.
Yes, it was a rough look at Luminosity on Overpass. That is, though, the first time they've actually played that on LAN. It's also not one of the maps that they are playing a lot, even in the online qualifiers or online leagues, anything like that. So look at the Dust 2. This is a map they have played on LAN before. They've played it twice. They did lose both of those. They have not won a map on LAN, so that could be tough for them. But let's go over what there is to even go over on Overpass.
Yeah, let's
down to the desk with Scoot, Thorn, and Hiko.
Leave it to the experts.
Thank you, gentlemen. And again, there's really not that much tactically to go over on that one. Your thoughts, Thorin?
16-3, I mean, only 3 rounds for Luminosity. I noticed, actually, every time Luminosity did win a round, though, the crowd cheered. I actually saw before the game, like, Lex was out here trying to hype the crowd up, and he's like, 3 cheers for Luminosity. I don't think that's what he meant, guys. It's like, see what,
3 rounds, 3 cheers.
That was more entertaining than that match, mate. So.
Yeah, I mean, that was, again, like you said, like, you expected a thrashing, and that was
problem
not
was,
pretty.
Here's the thing, right? In the other games, okay, Dust 2, there's some play there, maybe they could do that. We were talking through on the pick ban phase there. Because they had to get rid of Train, it was always going to be Overpass that Na'Vi was going to pick. And Na'Vi, forget this matchup, it's one of the best Overpass teams in the world. So, unfortunately, that was always going to be the hardest possible first map to play. So, it's not really even that big a deal that Luminosity lost it. That was not the one they could have won. Now, Dust 2, that's a different matter, maybe.
I mean, you could see by the body language just from overpass alone, like Navi wasn't cheering when they were winning rounds. It seemed pretty just robotic to them. Edward was pushing through smokes and no fear about anything. We saw Flamey even pick up an op, which is unheard of for that team. So like they literally were double opping when that's something that you almost never see from them. So.
And this has to be, two new players. Well, one very new player, but. Overpass is probably going to be one of the last maps you start messing with, right? You're going to go to the cores first to try to get Devil Walk up to speed.
This is one of the reasons why it's not just where teams are in the world, it's how they match up in terms of map pool as well. Because like I'm saying, the problem is, 3 of the maps that Navi's really good at is Train, Cobble, and Overpass, which are the 3 maps that most other teams, especially newer teams, don't like to play. NA teams, if they play each other, they sort of have an unwritten agreement. Let's play each other on Cash, Dust 2, Inferno, Mirage. Those are the 4 maps we play. So unfortunately, if you play another team like that, you can at least have a chance. There's going to be some play. Play teams that, especially world-class teams that have a huge map pool, they just go to the maps you can't play, and you don't even get a chance. They're not going to give you an in to play them on Inferno.
One thing that has been talked about for a while is the idea of role-playing, right? And every team having set roles.
Yep.
Europe does that quite well, depending on the roster. It seems like we have an issue in North America with, for lack of a better word, someone doesn't want to do the bitch jobs, which is not getting the frags, so you end up the bottom fragger because you're the one flashing and smoking and molly and all that. How do you fix that? And do you think that's an issue, Hiko? And then, how does North America check that ego?
It's really hard. I mean, I've talked about this before. Nobody wants to be going through the different levels of the scene as that support player role. Nobody wants to have the threads about them. Oh, minus you plus anybody else. Unfortunately, you see it all over the forums, all over Twitter. So you see a lot of these up-and-coming star players or talents that are coming up, and nobody even takes the time to learn smoke sometimes. So it's definitely a problem we have, and I think, as Thorn was saying earlier, it's really good that Luminosity was able to pick up a Devil Walk player because he was a support player for Fnatic when he was on it, and he knows all the smokes, and he goes over strats a lot. So I think if he's able to incorporate himself and allow their up-and-coming or star players to actually worry about aiming and getting kills, then I think that team actually could be successful.
Yeah, it's like they kind of forget that it is a team game and your individual performance matters, but if we win the match, that's what matters. But again, I think it's such a critical...
Well, it's also, I mean, just talking about dynamics of stars, etc. The problem is, if you get players who are star players, there might be a guy who's really skilled in NA, he can't look down on his support player because the support player doesn't get frags. If you're Michael Jordan, okay, you're supposed to do the scoring, but the idea is you actually need players who aren't scorers to kind of facilitate what you do. You actually need those guys to help you be as great as you're going to be. So they need to get out of that mentality of well, who got the most frags in this game, and whoever had the least, we're probably going to cut him next and get the next up-and-coming star. It's on you to get the frags if you're the stars. Now you need to build people around you who can then facilitate the team,
Do you think you're a huge sports guy, so do you think it's a bigger issue than Counter-Strike? Because North American sports are so stat heavy. We love our stats, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey. We're all over the stats of a player and not necessarily the other stuff.
Well, that's the problem. That's why in those sports, you notice, they created stats which aren't the star player stats. So rebounds, that's usually not a star player stat like that. There's the assist. In hockey doesn't always mean you're the star because you can get the two people can contribute to an assist. You've got all these defensive stats as well to promote hustle play, etc. They've tried to do that to promote that. And as well, the key thing they have in other sports that they don't have in CS, NA, CSGO teams is a general manager who has this bigger picture of I'm going to build a team and I need a guy to do this, and to make him work I'll need a support player there. It's sort of in some of these teams the star player, like I'm describing here, sort of gets to pick the team or kick people out. And so listen, if you had let Michael Jordan choose all his teammates, he might have just kicked everyone out and had a bunch of scorers, and then he wouldn't have a well-rounded team. So I think it's a mixture of infrastructure, and it's true, we don't really have many ways in CS especially to reward players who aren't fraggers. We did the assist, but even then you're having to do damage to people. That's sort of just a side fragging stat there. We haven't really got a great stat for the supportive player.
I actually think that's a really good point. All these rosters make changes within themselves. There's no outside influence. It's not like an org like Cloud9 is saying, okay, you can't make any moves. The players will make whatever moves they want.
Yeah.
And as Thorn said, without having that kind of third party to be okay, he might not be getting kills, but what he actually brings is, really important. So I think you hit it right on the head there.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Map 2, Na'Vi, Luminosity, Dust 2. Do or die time for Luminosity. All right, folks, welcome back. Here we are at the MLG Arena CEVO Season 7 LAN Finals. I'm Sir Scoots. I got Hiko and I got Thorin. Let's talk about it. Dust 2. Navi's up one map. They thrashed them 16-3, as you predicted. Dust 2, again, as you said during the pregame, much better chance for Luminosity. You know, definitely a more standard map for all of us, and certainly in North America.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, go.
I agree. Like, Dust 2 has definitely been, I think I coined the term the American maps. American maps, Dust 2, Inferno Cache. The maps that almost every American team wants to play, every American team is definitely prepared on. The problem is, a map like Dust 2, as we talked about earlier, Navi is just on another level. I think in terms of Navi compared to Overpass, or sorry, Dust 2 compared to Overpass, Overpass would definitely been the slaughter map. But Dust 2 should be closer. I don't expect them to be another 16-3. I'm looking for something like 16-8 or 16-9.
All right. We already know it's a thrashing, so I'm not going to get your... They're starting the pistol. We're going to go right to the casters. Launders, Helium, take it away.
Thank you, guys. And here we are, Dust 2 on the pistol. I mean, this is Luminosity's chance to try to take this out to the 3 maps. It's still going to be very difficult. But as Hiko said, kind of more of the NA map. Flamey, the holding on CT, everyone just rushing up that catwalk on the side of LG. Can Flamey take off any heads? It's actually Edward who will do it. He'll bring down Pit. Reinforcements coming in the form of, I think that's Peter coming up last, but still it's just a massive spray down here with pistol bullets. Seems like a lot of shots going wide. And while the grenade won't do it, it's actually Zeus's headshot onto Devil Walk. 4 to survive, and the fast cap play from Luminosity is shut down.
Oh my goodness, that was quite a pistol round from Navi. Luminosity decided to group up, wait for that, I think, Xbox smoke, and then charge their way up Cat and look to take fights and see if they could win them. What ended up happening was 4 of Navi's players congregating around the A site, around the slope, taking fights, living long enough to make it so that the USPs came out on top and just decimated Luminosity. They got no traction on that round. Didn't get close to getting the bomb down. Nope. So they got up Cat because it wasn't contested, but no site control whatsoever. And it was pretty much an abysmal attempt at an A take there. So that was not great. Now, I think Hiko and Thorin agreed maybe a few more rounds on this map. In my humble opinion, I'm not even sure if this map will be any easier than Overpass. I don't know if that means that Luminosity are going to have a harder time getting rounds because they, I feel like, will also be better on it, but Navi just extremely strong on Dust 2. And, oh, Zeus spotted the head of Lex there,
that's
takes
the
it
bomb
off,
too.
Spots the bomb as well.
And it flew up the catwalk. They were able to retrieve it, but now a man down as, of course, Luminosity forcing up here. Which I guess it did get them around in the second half of Overpass. That's how they got one of them, forcing up after a loss. And maybe it will work again. Anger's brought it back to a 4-on-4 now. Low players on both sides, still on Cat with only 30 seconds to go. It looks like they will be dropping off, heading over to the B site, but still Seized and Edward holding fast here. And Seized in a spot that, with the time going low like this, might not be checked, and exactly what happens. Not checked, and it's over.
Oh. Yeah, they tried to make a quick decision there. Rotate back to B. They ran through lower tunnels. That made a lot of noise, alerted Edward into rotating into the site. Seized was already at fence, and that was the round right there. If Luminosity knew they were running into 2 players at B, they would have changed their strategy up, and they got red like a book. So the issue there for them was they did get an opening kill. They traded 1 for 1, but ultimately didn't turn it into anything really, I don't know, really productive, I guess you could say, because going into B was a blender.
And so was that grenade that they just ran into. Zeus trying to bring in the big bucks, only does find 2 with the MP9. So a ton of money coming into that CT side just off of those frags. And there it is, Guardian with the help of some grenades as well.
You know, you lose control on rounds that are even eco rounds. Like, you aren't even, like, you have a strategy out the gate, and you're like, all right, let's go up Cat. You don't even get to Cat. That hurts your confidence, right? You don't even do that. We basically had Navi just gladiator up mid and have their way with Luminosity, so that's not going to be good for them. But going into this, they've got another set. They've got a set of AKs. Do you think this is going to be a closer map than Overpass?
So the community gets to say which team do they want to win. Can I make my prediction based off of what I want to happen?
Okay.
I want to see 3 maps.
Fair enough.
I want Luminosity to win this.
That is.
But Actually, I really don't think they will. Maybe more rounds, we'll see. I think it's a good map for Luminosity to try to work their defaults, right? Dust 2 is the map where literally every team just does the same default mid control more often than not, sometimes long control. And we'll see, like Devilwalk said in an interview with you, if he can turn those set strats into executions or even fakes to somewhere else. So let's see. Guardian doing what all the pro players love, jump scouting here.
Yeah, it's a very powerful position. He's actually going to be moving back towards middle. It might get punished immediately for this. This is going to be a good opportunity to mid to B.
Edward.
Lex hitting those entries actually gets 2 frags. Sees has a nade out and will get punished for it. Trades with that grenade from the grave, but that's the B site taken. Lower B has been taken control of, and that leaves 2 players from Na'Vi left to their own devices in really awkward spots. No chance for a retake here, I feel like.
Edward, just a slight mistake. He's got the playing off sound. He's like, oh, they're coming out middle. He was ready for that pop flash, but they were just a little too late. It was caught in the back. So there was that kill, and of course, even with the nade out, was still able to find one up on that scaffolding. But here's Flamey rotating over, making them pay for this. No kits, actually, for the CTs. And I would expect them to back off.
Yeah,
exactly, they will.
Yeah, definitely just going to fall off here, and that's thanks to Luminosity, like seeing an opportunity and grabbing it immediately. Now we've seen them try to do that on that eco round going into B, but whoa, later. Yeah, that's Zeus not able to save a rifle, and a round on the board for Luminosity. That's one for the home team, I suppose. So that is a really good start. Now they lost the pistol. They were down 3-0 last map. They didn't win a pistol, and those can really take a toll on you. So if they can turn this into 2 rounds in a row, that'll be something they haven't done since they played.
Yeah, exactly. All those rounds coming in very different portions of overpass. Triple up setup for Na'Vi. The greed. And coming after a loss too, so this is straining on the economy. This is really big for Luminosity. They can grab this round, take some momentum with it, and they're the home team, but think of this crowd going, and they can play off of that. Who knows? Still though, starting off slow, already 30 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, we do have Flamey anchoring along, Guardian playing that Markle opposition, and Zeus also has an op here, and will most likely take the first fight. Going A in this situation is obviously a bad move, but if they decide to do it, trading with this op, not letting him get a frag, could mean a world of difference. It's going to be tough. Guardian actually pushing over towards mid, so this might be a hot opportunity to try to make their way up Cat, and the smokes are going to come out. The execute might happen here, and we have 1 player at long. That's Devilwalk. He's going to look to exit late, and now he's going to take a fight.
I would expect someone trying to jump into, onto that CT ramp. Very well played, especially going to work out against the ops, getting in close. That other approach is big, but Guardian somehow just through the corner of that smoke, getting through and getting the frag. Man advantage to Na'Vi 4v3. Bomb has been planted, so Na'Vi in that retake situation sees it Flamey with those kits. Peter backing off and crouching out, wanting to get caught off guard. Flamey nearly taking his head off, and Guardian, how does he hit these shots?
Yeah, I don't know. That was just really, it looked really bad. Like once again, the bomb goes down. They trade the op 1 for 1. They have a great opportunity where Guardian's rotating to mid. They get all the way up Cat. They plant the bomb. They have 2 players on Cat. Devilwalk jumps off into mid late and then gets killed. And then we have Peter who dies in a very legitimate sense, I think, for Peter because he jumped in early and just got killed by the nicest flick ever. But overall, like, there was like 2 or 3 people who you can't justify how the way that they died.
I don't understand how Pit went down to Guardian. I mean, obviously the shot came instantly, but I don't even know how Guardian knew to look through that part of the smoke. Peter, though, finding one, and it's Guardian down. So Peter getting the off battle off the start, and the early man advantage for his team. Although his team is still using a Deagle and a Tech 9 here in round 6.
Yeah, won't be able to find that op either. So now we have an aggressive push into upper tunnels. We have a Pith waiting for it. He's going to look to find the headshot. Takes one off of Seized, but there's going to be a man to follow up. Edward, he's going to hold the op here now. He's going to take a shot and fall off. Doesn't actually find the kill. So this is great news for Luminosity, who are out mid, but will have to go up against Zeus, who finds an opening pick, and Edward finds one for himself too.
Maybe the nade tagging even helping out there as it went through the smoke. Makes Edward's shot a bit easier to hit. Pit, though, has crossed. It's a beautiful shot onto Edward. He's having a great round for himself. Finds 2 kills. Peter as well, who started us off, and now it's Zeus in a 1v2. Can't go through the window yet. Fire has now cleared up. He'll go through quick, and it's Anger to get it. Second round for Luminosity.
They do it, yeah, and that's not 2 rounds in a row, but it is 2 rounds close enough together that their economy didn't take a beating for it. So now it's 4-2. This is a pretty good ratio for them to maintain if they do go into the late rounds of this half, but at the same time, we'll want to have a good showing just to show themselves that they can take rounds off of anybody, and this is going to be a tough matchup. Guardian is actually buying the op. Glass Cannon has no armor, and Flamey only has a 5-7, so a great opportunity to put Na'Vi on a save.
Yeah, this is the opportunity for Luminosity here on this round to, I mean, the 2-for-1. They should be able to tie it up if they take this one. That being said, Na'Vi, even as broke as they are, maybe would still force and be bad-mannered about it. But Peter once again taking down Guardian. And let's see, players on the catwalk. Na'Vi kind of going in for the retake, but a bit early. The bomb not quite even down. And look at these grenades coming up onto the catwalk. At least 3 or 4 coming in. Nades, flashes, and Zeus to find Pit. So evened right back up. But this time ticking in favor of the terrorists.
Yeah, their only issue right now is Devilwalk is out in the long plat. He only has 13 HP though, and the bomb is planted for him. So if Lex goes down on the site, oh, and he gets a 1-dig on a jumping player. Seas goes down. Lex gets a second 1-dig and gets traded out immediately. Now it's 2-on-2. Peter is going to be at long with Devilwalk. It's planted for Devilwalk, and I don't know if he's peaked yet, but this is going to be a big advantage for them. Zeus misses a shot, is going to fall off right now, and Edward goes down as well. So that's a round on the board for Luminosity.
There it is. So finally, getting 2 in a row. Very likely scenario that they find a third, but keep in mind that Zeus did save that op. So that could be dangerous. Will they force behind it? Yeah, that's what we got to see here.
That was really nice. Like, they actually found their way out long without taking any fights whatsoever. So once again, finding those holes in Navi's setups, in their CT setups, and this time exploiting it and playing that mid to late round all the way to the after plant and actually securing a round. Very legitimate.
So looks like Na'Vi is showing respect here. They don't try to force behind the one op that was saved. They will just go with the pistols. Let's see what Zeus can do. Still, money's going to be tight on the side of Luminosity. If you can get some kills, it would be great for the CT effort. Devilwalk looks like he wants to throw that long cross, trying to work his way up. Will spot Flamey jumping about. Tags him up a little bit, and there finally brings him down. A bit of a team flash, and then again, team flash. I wonder about that, and now here's Zeus. There's a gap in that smoke. Another one, though, to go down, and Lex actually takes him down through it. Op now in the hands of Seas, but he's Glass Cannon. Actually throws it to Guardian. Probably the smart play.
Yeah, no, we were talking intensely about this round because even though it is versus an eco and they'll most likely win it, they got the bomb down, they can't lose people. They've got an economy to fight for at this moment. There's a lot of rounds left in this half and they could easily go broke at any moment. So any players they're able to save is huge, and any ones that Na'Vi are able to find is just as big. Now, Pith is going to be looking to neutralize this op because that's a huge investment. Guardian has